Welcome to Money Matters. If you like to make money and enjoy learning about crypto and other investment topics, please subscribe to the channel. If you enjoy the content, then hit that like button as well. Let's get into it. As usual, this channel is devoted to your financial freedom. And as a disclaimer, this is not financial advice. If you need such advice, please seek out the help of an accredited financial advisor. Oh boy, here we go. So thanks for nothing, Mr. Elon Musk, going back on his Bitcoin fever that came out about 2 months or so ago when the Tesla bought $1.5 billion worth of Bitcoin. His tweet yesterday caused an actual avalanche of price falling across the crypto market, not just in Bitcoin. As you can see on the chart here, pretty much everything was affected. The only bright spot was ADA, Cardano's native coin, which continues to rise. So again, this was a surprise. It kind of came out of nowhere. I've heard conspiracy theories about him talking to his friends before he actually did it. And I don't really know, but the fact of the matter is we're going to be dealing with the ramifications here for a little while anyway. But we have some good news coming up at the rest of the video that may help bow your spirits a little bit. So let's take a look in the news. Again, Elon Musk puts out a tweet yesterday and basically the market crashes. It's sad to think that one person has that sort of power over such a large market, but that's the world that we live in right now. He's a very influential person, and in all actuality, I wish he would kind of stick to what he's good at, and that's building products and disrupting industries and just staying the hell out of crypto. He's already got all the money he needs. But that's just one man's opinion. Let's see, Van Eck. They have filed for the first Ethereum ETF, which I thought that was just very interesting. The SEC is expected to rule by June 17th, and this was a prediction I made a long time ago that we would get an Ether ETF before a Bitcoin ETF. Not sure if that's still going to happen. I don't know if the pricing escalation for Ethereum, which has now been dampened, led to any sort of analysis that comes with this, but we'll have to see. Hopefully they won't put it off like they've been putting off some of the other ETFs, and they'll actually make a ruling, and we will get our first crypto ETF within the United States. That would be a very exciting day, to say the least. This I thought was very, very interesting. Over the last 7 years, the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission has instituted basically 75 crypto investigations, different crypto coin offerings, etc. And it has garnered them $1.77 billion. That's a lot of money. Do you think the government's going to give up that money? I seriously doubt it. If you think you're going to get a clear ruling with the Ripple XRP case coming up in June or so, I don't think so. It's probably going to settle, or it's going to be predicated on future classification of cryptocurrency. They don't want to give up this money. They're going to keep finding people, keep going back, and keep collecting money. That's just my prediction. But we'll see. Hopefully, Ripple will be settled soon, and we will get some sort of at least some sort of an indication of where crypto is going with respect to regulation in the United States. MoneyGram will soon be allowing customers to buy, sell Bitcoin through there's 12,000 retail locations. It doesn't come at a free service, of course. They take 4% and $2.75 per transaction. However, it does provide an on-ramp for use of cryptocurrency, which is another branch that we're moving into. And the more the merrier. That's how you're going to get adoption on a large scale, a broad scale. So the more companies that adopt some sort of an augmented dealing with crypto, the better. I thought this was a very funny piece of news. A senior manager at Goldman Sachs in London quit his investment bank job after making millions on Dogecoin. So who's to say that people don't make money in Doge? I think a lot of people lost a lot of money, but I guess there's a few people who made a lot of money too. All right, let's get into our main topic. We're going to see if Bitcoin is ready to rumble, if it's ready to head to the top. I ran across a very interesting indicator that I wanted to share with everybody, and it's a bit on the complex side in an abstract way, but I'm going to try to explain it the best way that I can, because if you can put your mind around it and pay attention to it, it could definitely turn out to be a very beneficial indicator for a strong buy for Bitcoin. If nothing else, this should give you some solace in knowing that Bitcoin is not going to zero. It will be coming back. Things are going to be fine. So this fellow named Charles Edwards, he was an on-chain analyst, created an indicator called hash ribbons. And the ribbons comes from what moving averages look like on a chart. They look like ribbons flowing up and down. So that's where that term came from. And it uses, the initial analysis used a 20 and a 10-day, but it's really a 1 month and a 2 month moving average for the hash rate for Bitcoin. So the hash rate changes, I think it's every 2 blocks or so. So the hash rate moving up and down affects miners, their profitability, how much they can produce, etc. And at certain points in time, the hash rate poses a negative effect on miners, and they capitulate. They sell off a lot of their Bitcoin and basically dump it, getting out of holding it. And this information is tracked, and there's an association between price, this capitulation, and the hash rate. Obviously, we've talked about the hash rate. So when certain things happen and the stars align, it's a good indicator to jump into Bitcoin and buy. Of course, you never want to move on any one indicator alone. You want to kind of verify your thesis based on other things, like maybe whatever indicators that you're using. If you're just using your own charting within TradeView or whatever, you want to make sure that you're validating these assumptions. So let's look a little bit into it and see how it looks. So on this chart right here, you can look at these blue arrows that I put on here, and they indicate when the moving average, it's when the 60-day moving average crosses the 30-day moving average. And you can see a very strong buy signal. So the little red areas are where the lines have crossed and created a gap that shows minor capitulation. So this is at a point in time where this is the signal to buy. Now, the cool thing about this is that you can see this signal perfectly clear happen before the time to buy. So if you look at the little white arrow, or the little white lines that are straight up after each of these events, you can see it's after the fact. You can clearly see there's a red bubble here that says, hey, Bitcoin, it's a good time to get in. And if you look at the chart, the pricing chart, which is the blue line above, after each of those white lines, the price tends to go up. And we'll look at these returns in just a second, but the final blue arrow on the right, which is starting to show red, is a moment in time that we're in now. So in approximately 2 weeks or so, we should be in a full-blown minor capitulation, which would indicate a prime time to buy for Bitcoin. So how does it work? Well, again, we use 2 indicators that are tied to the hash rate and miner sentiment. So as I explained it before, you have these hash rate moving average lines that are charted in association with the price of Bitcoin. And when they cross, they can cross up or down. When they cross down, it would be a sell, but that's not really what we're talking about here. We're only concerned about, and this isn't a day trading type indicator. This is a long-term hodler type indicator. It's when you would buy Bitcoin and hold it for years. These events typically only happen once a year. I think it's only happened twice a year, one time in the past. So when it happens, it's a big deal. It shows that you need to jump in and hold for the long term. And if you do so, the longer you hold, the more you're going to make. So what we're looking at here are, on the left-hand side, you see the dates for the buy points. And where it says max down draw, that's where you see miners taking money out and throwing it into the ecosystem. And you can see that the pressure is the downward pressure on the hash rate that's forcing them to let go of this Bitcoin. Where it says max gain to peak, you can see what the time frame was. So for like the last one, the last one was 65.19. It was from December 11th to April 13th. You can see what the price change was. So you can see that they're very large differences. So what I would think is that if you can identify these these buy-in points and you're going to hold this Bitcoin for a long period of time, the percentage gains that you'll receive over this period of time are substantial. And the really key point to take away here is the buy-in spot. So if it indicates that there's this capitulation and that the prices are going to start to move higher, of course you want to buy in. So let's do a recap and go over that kind of example again as well, just so we can kind of nail it home. But in review, thanks for nothing, Elon. You've really kind of screwed us up here, but we should be bouncing back. We've talked about the this new indicator for Bitcoin, and again, if you look at what the pricing is getting ready to do, meaning that we're getting into a buy area where you have to jump in and buy your Bitcoin and hold it, that's an indicator that the prices are going to go higher. We've been talking for a long, long time about the Bitcoin end of cycle, which is, end of the year, beginning of next year, moving up over $100,000 or higher, much higher. This will be the starting point for that. This will be the climb up from steady gains as opposed to sideways, consolidation for months and months at a time. So if this indicator holds true, we will see probably, I think in mid-June or beginning of June, probably, Bitcoin establishing a floor and moving up from there continually through the end of the cycle. That's what this indicator is telling us. And if we can buy in within the next week or so, when the price is down as it is now, we should be well off in the future to be having major gains on our investment. And remember, times like these, when it's so depressing to see red everywhere, especially after the euphoric 2 days that we've had with everything in green and dancing in the streets, it's hard to remember those green days, but you need the red days to be able to buy and the green days to be able to sell. And it's not the end of the world. It's just a new beginning. So stay strong. Don't sell off. Not financial advice, but wait to sell off when the market's high. Don't sell when it's low and when you're scared. When you're scared, buy more. And when you're happy and things seem great, start to sell a little bit. Take some profits and put it into stable coins so that you can have money for the next investment opportunity that comes along. I'd like for you to leave a comment and let me know what you think Bitcoin position will be here shortly within the next few months, if actually within the next like 3 weeks, to see if you think we're going to be going up from there to the end of the year back into price discovery, or if you think that we're going to continue to consolidate sideways and Ethereum is going to boost back up and move into the first place as far as performance or maintain it to a higher level. I'd love to hear your comments. Scammers, watch out for them. I don't know if any of you live in the Southeast like I do, but they had a ransomware attack on the main pipeline, which really screwed a lot of people. And I think it cost the company $5 million or something like that. And it was traced back to a simple phishing attack. So be vigilant. They're out there all the time trying to take your money. And last but not least, winners never quit and quitters never win. Always give your very best effort to overcome the challenges that you face in life. I'm having a great day and I hope you are too. I will see you tomorrow.